Her touches were invisible, but I felt foreign echoes seeping into me through every nerve. It wasn't a touch you'd recognize, not the press of skin, not the warmth of a hand, not even the weight of a gaze. No, it was something deeper, sharper, like Zarina was weaving threads of herself through the air, through the neural interfaces linking us, through the cold, humming walls of the cinder spire dash. I felt her pulse, her breath, the tremor of her fear, the heat of her desire, all of it crashing into me, but tangled with something else, something cold, alien, older than the dying star outside. I'm Koryan, a technician who spent 10 years patching systems and cracking codes. But here, in this neon-lit lab, I was unraveling, caught in sensations I couldn't name. Were they hers? Mine? Or did they belong to the artifact we were trying to resurrect? I didn't know, and that uncertainty was a blade twisting in my gut. The lab was a cavern of shadows and light, violet and blue neons flickering like a heartbeat, casting jagged patterns on the walls. The artifact sat on a platform, black as a void, its surface shifting, liquid one moment, solid the next, like it was breathing, watching, waiting. They'd pulled it from the Venus sector, a graveyard of lost signals and vanished ships, and my job was to make it work, to unlock its secrets. But secrets have a way of biting back, and with every neural connection, I felt myself slipping, my mind fraying at the edges. Zarina stood beside me, her implants, slivers of light at her temple and wrist, glowing faintly, syncing with the artifact's pulse. She was the operator, the bridge between me and this thing, her cybernetics letting her feel what I could only measure. Today, though, her face was a mask of tension, her lips trembling, her eyes, dark, wide, almost liquid, staring not at me but through me, into something I couldn't see. Koryan, do you feel it? Her voice was a whisper, but it carried a current, like she was teetering between fear and compulsion. It's speaking, not words, sensations, like it's inside me. I swallowed hard, my neural interface, a metal strip along my spine, warming, sending pulses that crawled up my neck and into my brain. Her words weren't just sound. They were a vibration, sinking into my chest, my bones, my blood. It wasn't just her. It was the artifact, its signal flowing through her implants, through our link, and into me, a tide I couldn't resist. Speaking, my voice cracked, betraying me. I wanted to sound steady, but the lab's hum, the artifact's presence, her closeness, it was too much. Or is that your mind making sense of it? We don't know what this is, Zarina. It could be projecting. She shook her head, her black hair knotted loosely, swaying, strands brushing her neck, damp with sweat. Her skin glistened, her breath came faster, and I couldn't look away. She wasn't the polished perfection of a hologram. She was raw, human, marked by scars where implants had been grafted into her flesh. Those scars told a story of pain, survival, transformation, and they pulled at me, made me want to trace them, to understand her. Her eyes caught mine, and something in them, hunger, fear, need, sent my pulse racing. It's not projection, she said, stepping closer, her voice low, urgent. It wants us closer. Don't you feel it? The warmth, the pull, like it's weaving us together. I felt it. God, I felt it. A pressure, like the air had thickened, pressing against my skin, drawing me toward her. My hands, still clutching tools, shook, and I set them down, hoping she wouldn't notice. My neural interface buzzed, feeding me her sensations. Her heartbeat, quick and erratic. Her breath, shallow and warm. Her desire, sharp and aching, but laced with a cold, alien edge that didn't belong to either of us. I tried to focus, to anchor myself in the lab's sterile reality, but her scent, metal, oil, something distinctly her, flooded my senses, drowning my resolve. Zarina, I said, my voice rough, like I'd been silent for days. We need to be careful. This thing, it's not a tool. We don't know what it's doing to us. She smiled, a strange, almost feral smile, like she held a secret I wasn't ready for. Her hand rose, and I braced for her touch, but she only hovered her fingers over the artifact, not touching it. Her implants flared, bright as stars, and a wave of energy hit me, a current that sparked through my nerves, making my skin burn. Careful. She tilted her head, her voice softening, intimate, like a lover's whisper. Koryan, we're past careful. You feel it, don't you? How it binds us. Like we're not separate anymore. My breath caught. She was right. The boundaries between us were crumbling, our neural link blurring where I ended and she began. My implants hummed, sending fragments of sensation. Her skin, soft and warm, though I hadn't touched her. Her breath, hot against my neck, though she stood a step away. And behind it, a shadow, cold and vast, like the artifact was watching, guiding, pulling us into its orbit. I clenched my fists, trying to hold on to myself, but my eyes betrayed me, drifting to her lips, parted and trembling, to her eyes, dark and searching, seeing through me, into me. Then I saw her. Elia. She stood in the lab's far corner, near the entrance, her silhouette half swallowed by shadow. Elia, the operator from our first mission, a ghost I'd nearly forgotten, but whose presence always left a chill. She'd arrived 3 days ago, no warning, just a transfer order from some faceless authority. Her pale hair was pulled tight, her black uniform clinging to her lean frame, but there was no warmth in her, no life. She didn't move, didn't speak, but her eyes, gray as ash, cold as the void, watched us, watched me, watched Zarina. My neural interface flickered, catching static, and a shiver ran down my spine. Elia, I said, my voice sharper than I meant. How long have you been standing there? She didn't answer at first, just tilted her head, as if my question was a puzzle she was solving. Her silence was suffocating, and I felt Zarina stiffen beside me, her implants dimming slightly. Elia stepped forward, her movements silent, deliberate, each one a quiet threat. Long enough, she said, her voice low, raspy, like it was rarely used. You're making progress. That's promising. I narrowed my eyes, searching her face for a hint of intent. Elia was always guarded, but her being here, her focus on the artifact, felt wrong, like a piece of a puzzle that didn't fit. She'd been with us when we found this thing, back on the first mission. She'd said little, but I remembered her eyes on the artifact, knowing, calculating. Now she was here, watching, as if she'd been waiting for this moment. If you've got something to say it, I said, forcing confidence I didn't feel. My voice trembled, and I knew she heard it. Or are you just here to spy? Zarina glanced at me, her eyes flickering with unease, but she stayed silent. Elia smiled, a cold, empty curve of her lips, like neon reflecting off ice. I'm not spying, Koryan, she said, her voice almost soft, but there was a blade in it. I'm intrigued. This artifact, it's unique, isn't it? You both feel it, don't you? I opened my mouth to reply, but Zarina cut in, her voice sharp, edged with anger. I felt her implants flare, sending a pulse through our link, hot and defiant. If it's so unique, why don't you connect to it? She said, stepping toward Elia, her hands clenched. Or are you afraid? Afraid it'll show what you really are. The air crackled, tension coiling like a spring. Elia didn't move, but her eyes narrowed, and for a moment, I saw something, a glint, a shadow, something not human. But it was gone, her smile returning, cold and unyielding. I'm not afraid, Zarina, she said, her voice barely above a whisper. But I know some things are better left dormant. Are you sure you want to wake this? She turned and left, her footsteps fading into the station's hum. But her words lingered, a poison sinking into my thoughts. I looked at Zarina, her chest heaving, her implants still glowing, her emotions, anger, fear, desire, flooding our link, tangling with mine. I wanted to reach for her, to steady her, but Elia's presence had built a wall between us, invisible but solid. She knows something, Zarina said, her voice quieter, but the anger still simmered. She's not here by accident, Koryan. She terrifies me. I nodded, my throat tight. Elia was a shadow, a question mark, her motives hidden behind those ash-gray eyes. I remembered her from the first mission, her silence, her too precise questions, the way she'd linger near the artifact, like she was communing with it. Now she was here, just as we were on the verge of unlocking its secrets. It wasn't chance. It couldn't be. Let's keep working, I said, trying to ground myself. We need to figure this out before she, or someone else, gets in the way. Zarina's eyes met mine, dark and intense, and for a moment, I saw something raw, something that made my heart pound. She nodded, but instead of turning to the artifact, she stepped closer, so close I felt the heat of her body, her breath grazing my neck. Her hand rose, and this time she touched me. Her fingers slid across my chest, light but deliberate, like she was testing my reality. "Koryan," she whispered, her voice soft but heavy, like she was wrestling with something inside. "I don't know what this thing is, but it's pulling us together. I feel you. Your thoughts, your fears, your want." I froze, her words sinking into me, her closeness overwhelming. My neural interface buzzed, feeding me her sensations, her heartbeat, rapid and fierce, her warmth, her need, all laced with that cold, alien thread. I wanted to pull back, to say it was the artifact manipulating us, but my body betrayed me. My hands rose, my fingers brushing her wrist, where her implants pulsed under her skin, and I felt her pulse merge with mine, a rhythm that was both hers and something else. "Zarina," I said, my voice hoarse, barely my own. "We don't know what this is doing to us. It could be dangerous." She smiled, a sad, knowing smile, like she'd already accepted we were past the point of return. Her fingers slid to my neck, her nails grazing my skin, sending a shiver through me, a mix of desire and dread. "Maybe," she said, her voice low, almost a growl. "But don't you want to know how far it can take us?" I couldn't answer, because I did want to know. I wanted her, wanted the artifact, wanted the truth, even if it consumed me. But then I heard footsteps, soft, deliberate, and turned. Elia. She stood in the doorway, her gray eyes piercing, her presence a cold wave that shattered the warmth Zarina had kindled. She didn't speak, just watched, her gaze a judgment, a warning, a promise I couldn't decipher. Zarina's hands fell away, her implants dimming, and our connection faltered, replaced by the chill Elia brought. "Keep going," Elia said, her voice soft but sharp, like a blade wrapped in velvet. "You're so close, Koryan." "Zarina. So close to something." She left, but her words were a weight, a warning. Zarina's hand found mine, her fingers gripping tight, and I felt her fear, her anger, her defiance, pulsing through our link. "She's not like us," she whispered, her voice fierce. "She's something else, Koryan. I feel it. She's too much like it." I didn't respond, but I knew she was right. Elia wasn't just an operator, not just a relic of our past. She was tied to the artifact, to its purpose, and her presence here was no accident. I began noticing things, her sudden appearances, her fingers lingering on consoles, her eyes tracking the artifact, Zarina me. She was searching, waiting, and I feared what she'd do when she found it. Days blurred, the lab a crucible of neon and static. Zarina and I pushed deeper, our link growing stronger, more intimate. Her touch was constant, her hand on my arm, her breath on my neck, her implants syncing with mine, blurring us into one. The artifact's hum was a song, its signals weaving through us, binding us. I felt its hunger, its longing, its memories, not mine, not hers, but something vast, ancient, alive. Zarina's eyes were feverish, her voice trembling as she spoke of its whispers, its promises. I saw it too, not visions, but sensations, a need to connect, a fear of fading, a desire to be whole. One night, I wandered the station's corridors, unable to sleep, the hum a constant companion. I found myself in the archives, a dim chamber of data drives and flickering screens. Something drew me, a glitch, a signal, a hunch. I accessed the logs, my fingers moving on instinct, and found a file, buried deep, encrypted but cracked open, as if someone wanted it found. It was Elia's transfer order, but the signature wasn't human, it was a code, a pattern matching the artifact's neural signature. My implants buzzed, a warning, and I felt a chill. Elia wasn't just watching. She was part of this, a piece of the artifact's design. Back in the lab, Zarina and I dove deeper, our link a fire that consumed us. The artifact's signals grew stronger, its presence a weight in my mind. We felt it, its voice, its memories, its need, binding us, pulling us into its core. Zarina's hands shook, her eyes wet, but she didn't stop, and neither did I. We were too far gone, too entwined, too desperate for truth. Then it came, a surge, a flood of data, raw and unfiltered, crashing through our link. We saw a memory, not ours, a planet of glass and shadow, a sky of light storms, a presence vast and endless. And in it, a figure, not Elia, but her echo, her eyes glowing ash gray, her voice promising eternity, unity, oblivion. Zarina gasped, her nails digging into my arm, her implants blazing. Koryan, what was that? My voice was raw, my head spinning, the artifacts pulse a drum in my chest. It's her, Zarina whispered, trembling. Elia. She's part of it. She's not here to help, Koryan. She's here to eat. The door hissed open. Elia stood there, her presence a void, her eyes fixed on us, her smile a blade. You've seen it, she said, her voice soft, heavy. The artifact's truth. It's not just an object, Koryan. It's a bridge to something beyond you. And I'm its guardian. I backed away, Zarina's hand in mine, her warmth my only anchor. Elia wasn't human, not fully. Her eyes, her voice, her connection to the artifact were proof. She was here to use us, to awaken something that should stay buried. The neon pulsed, the station's hum a roar, and I knew we were too deep, bound to the artifact, to each other, to her. The truth was in the void, in the artifact's whispers, in Elia's gray eyes, more dangerous than I could fathom. I'm Koryan, or I was, and I don't know if I'll survive this, but I'll fight to uncover her secrets, the artifact's purpose, what we've become. Even if it means losing myself to the echo.